Well, good afternoon. It is now 2 o'clock on the green clock, and it is time to commence with Day 7 of the Brazos County Commissioners Court. Oh, excuse me. It is now 2 o'clock, and it's time to convene the Brazos County Commissioners Court budget hearing, or workshop for Day 7. We have at the podium our budget coordinator, Miss Nina Payne.
Good afternoon. So today we're going to go into a little bit more details around special revenues, grant funds, debt service, as well as health and life fund. The special revenues funds, they're by statute. It's either by a certain fee that is collected or certain guidelines that we have to abide by for these funds. And so I like to go over one-on-one with y'all. And we're going to make it, I want to continue going. If you have questions, just please, stop and tell me to, slow down a little bit. This is the overall budget for the special revenues. This is 4.3 million of the budget compared to last year's. Keep in mind this has nothing to do with the general fund. This is just special revenues. The first one we're going to go over is the hotel tax fund. Right now the revenue is estimated to come in at 4.2 million. The portion for the salaries, which includes 2 positions, as well as operations for the hotel tax, is 1.3 million. We must budget the venue tax Kyle Field at 1 million. And if you could tell, this 1 million matches the revenue expense that will be brought in. Yes.
Sorry, which funds are we on?
The special revenue, this is a hot fund.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. The Expo Complex improvements, this is where I put the remaining, we're doing the deferred maintenance. 10 million is over at the general fund, and the remaining is over here at the hot tax fund, 2.5 million. Total budget is 5.9. Right now, the estimated fund balance out of this fund is 8.4, which I will be using 1.7 to balance the budget. Estimated fund balance to end as of September 30th next year might be 6.6 million. Do you have any questions regarding this? I do want to make a note that I know Commissioner Conjola asked regarding can the surveillance cameras from the parking garage be used out of this fund. I had Civil do a research and an opinion. And at the end of the day, if we can prove that every single vehicle in that building is used for like A&M games, for First Fridays, and we could show a good percentage, it could possibly be done, but it's used every single day regarding county employees and other services like City of Bryan. It would be hard for us to come up with a calculation to try to figure out a good balance if the hot fund could pay for it and what portion would the general fund pay for it. So their opinion is to stay away from the hot fund paying for the camera surveillance system over at the parking garage.
Thank you for that.
And I have the opinion, and I can email to each one of y'all if y'all like.
How about for just maintenance?
For maintenance,
Yeah, can we use any hot fund money for that?
it would be hard for us to because it's not proven that it's used for putting heads in beds, right? So we have to come up with a good percentage. And so I would only use the hot fund for the expo, for the Brazos Center, things that are bringing events here. The parking garage is not bringing events. It's just a place for people to park. A majority of Monday through Fridays, it's the civil services, us and the City of Bryan are parking there.
Yeah, but how about first and third
But it's mostly residents.
first and third weekends in Bryan?
But it's residents.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, there could be
Mostly.
people from out of town.
True, but who's going to count the vehicles going in and out that are going to be for those events? And so that's something that we're going to have to do a little bit more research on. Can it be done? Possibly. Would I advise it to get it done now? No, until we get some additional information from the parking garage. Maybe the new
gates, new cameras
can
will
help
have
us.
that metrics set up.
Okay. And as you can tell, each fund has the statute at the bottom. This is also published in the budget book to help the public understand as well. The next fund will be the state lateral road to receive funding from the state. Next year it's estimated at $35,000. We're going to use the remaining of the fund balance to balance the repair and maintenance for certain roads that Road and Bridge can use, $171,000. And so it's up to them to use this money. They can use it on existing projects. We advise them to use this fund first before dipping into the general fund. Okay? The next one is unclaimed property fund. Estimated interest for next year is $21,500. Total budget is $146,000, which means we're using all the fund balance to balance the budget. The unclaimed property is up to the county treasurer to use. And this is based off of property code 76.601. Any questions?
Continue.
The next up is the law library fund. We'll receive fees from the county clerk as well as the district clerk. Estimated cost for the revenues is $122,000. We are using all of fund balance to balance the budget at $369,000. What this is used for, we use the law library, you know, the law library on the fourth floor. So we buy books for the district judges as well as the district attorney, the county attorney, and so we use this fund to purchase those instead of the general fund. Local Provider Partnership Fund. Again, this is not part of the county. This is a pass-through from the hospitals. Next Tuesday, we'll have a public hearing on their public tax rate. And so next year, we're estimating at $43 million for revenues with $66 million going out the door. We're using all the fund balance to balance the budget. Any questions?
Commissioners?
No.
Thank you.
The LEOS Fund, this is for training. We receive funding from the state and the amount of $42,000 is estimated for next year. We're going to balance the budget at $150,000. A lot of this money is being rolled forward from previous years from the law enforcement, so if they don't use it, it just rolls. We can't make them use it, but we ask them to, we advise them to. Currently, the district attorney has spent funding from it, sheriff's office as well as jail, and it can only be used for certain training. Okay. County Records Management Fund. Earlier this year, we moved all the expenses and revenues out of this account and pushed it to the district clerk based on the statute update. So there's nothing budgeted here. County Clerk Records Management Fund, estimated revenue coming in the door is $355,000. We're budgeting $1.7 million. We're using all of fund balance. What the county clerk uses this fund for, she does all those old books that's sitting there. She gets them archived, and so this is one of the big projects she uses this money for. Only the county clerk can use this fund. This is another county clerk archival fund that she has. It's based on fees. Revenue estimated is $358,000. Total cost is $2.1. We're using all of fund balance, and the same thing. It's up to the county clerk to use these funds for certain projects as in archiving. So once one fund is depleted, she could go to this fund if she wants to. Courthouse Security Fund. This is based on fees that are brought in. Current revenue is $119,000. The expenditures is at $387,000. We're using all the fund balance to cover this cost. 2 years ago, or back in 2023, we had all courthouse security positions under this fund until it started to deplete. So we moved all those positions from this fund to the general fund because it was running out of funding. We advised the courthouse and the sheriff's office to use this on anything the courthouse security fund needs, like badges, other operational costs, uniforms, cell phones, Avanex, that kind of thing, out of this account. Justice Court Security Fund, this is a fee that's derived. Estimated revenue coming in the door next year is $19,000. This is very specific to Justice Court security outside the courthouse. And so, say for instance, like JP2, JP1, JP3, anything that's outside the Justice Court system, this fee can be used. It's very specific. And so right now we don't have any projects, but if something comes up, we would direct the expense out of this fund versus the general cost, the general fund. District Clerk Management Fund. Remember the county records management that no longer has funding? It was moved from there to this account. There's that $702,000 that was transferred this year into this fund. This is the same thing, kind of like the county clerk records management. They're able to use that fund to do archiving, scanning, that type of projects, and it's up to the district clerk to use it. It also has 4 part-time employees housed there. The district clerk archiving fund, this is no longer, as you can tell, there's nothing budgeted for this next year. The Justice of the Peace Technology Fund, this fund receives fees. The estimated cost coming in is $30,000. I take what is left and I kind of distribute it between each JP. What we use from this is their replacement computers, replacement scanners, their county cell phones. They can use it towards conferences that are IT related. If it's not an IT conference 100%, they could do a percentage. So if they go for 25% of the conference that's IT related, we could take it out of here. It's just directly for JPs. What is also purchased out of here is the ticket writers. So the JP can sit there and purchase a ticket writer for the constables out of this fund as well. The County and District Court Technology Fund, this is as a whole, we can use this for certain projects. I am in the middle of researching to see if this can possibly be used for the parking garage camera system. It's very specific on what we can use, so I'm getting it researched. If that project goes through, can we use it out of this fund as well? Okay, so I'm trying to find different avenues if the court decides to go that direction.
Good.
As you can tell, it's a fee that comes in. It's only based on court costs to fund technology needs of the county and district courts. And so it's a fine line. Is a parking garage part of the district court system? We park there, but I'm getting it double checked. The forfeiture fund, so if the courts award forfeitures, this is where it goes. It can only be used for the departments that receive the forfeitures. Right now, there's nothing coming in. We're using all of fund balance to balance the budget. The DA hot check fund, this is up to the DA to use. This is any expenses that they receive off of hot checks. It's hard to believe that people still write checks, but they do. And so you could tell that there's only $350 coming in as revenue. I'm using all of fund balance and it's placed into contingency until the district attorney can use it for something. Okay. Bail bond board fee, this is out of the treasurer's office. Additional revenue coming in is $7,000. Total expense is $129,000. They pay for overtime if needed out of this during their estimates for every time they work up the bail bonds. And so this is what can be used for that one, and only the county treasurer can use it. Vehicle inventory tax interest, this is out of the tax office. Revenue coming in for next year is $46,500. Total expense is $498,000. I am using all the fund balance to balance the budget. The tax office does use overtime if needed out of this account to account for vehicle inventory tax, and so it's very specific on what they can and cannot use it for. So if they need software based on the state that they're initiating on vehicle tax, they can use this fund to purchase it. Sheriff's Crime Fund, this is items that are coming in for them. They're only getting interest. They have not received any other revenue. $3,150. Total expense is $120,000. I am using fund balance to balance it. It is up to the sheriff's office what this can and cannot be used for. So if they want a vehicle and court says no, they can use this. As you can tell, it's used sometimes, but it's up to the sheriff's. The District Attorney Crime Fund, same thing. This is up to the District Attorney to use. They have brought in $20,000 for estimated for crime fund. Interest is $7,000. In order for me to balance the budget, I'm using all their fund balance to balance it. This covers for one full-time and one part-time position. Oh, where did that one? The Election Contracts Fund, this is fees that we receive from the state. We're getting $25,000 as in fees for services, $1,900 for interest, totaling $26,000. Trudy lets us know where it needs to be budgeted based on election process. For next year, $4,700 will be in the primary election services, as well as $52,000 in the election service portion of it. I will be using all the fund balance to balance the budget. The county attorney hot check fund, again, this is for hot checks that the county attorney receives, 1,000 in fees, budgeting 66,000 in contingency, which means I'm using all the fund balance to cover the expenditures. It's up to the county attorney to use this fund. They used to have employees until several years ago, and they moved those employees out or deleted them. And that is it regarding special revenues. Do you have any questions? Again, most of these revenues are derived by fees, and they're for specific things. And we try,
Commissioners.
throughout the year to find projects that we can use out of these funds. Sometimes it's just so hard because it's so very specific based on statute.
Any questions on special revenue funds?
No.
No.
Thank you, Ms. Payne.
The next step is going to be grants. We're going to review grants real quick. As you can tell, we've only have 4 grants in progress, and so I'd just like to pinpoint on those real quick. The first one is going to be the TIDC grant, which was approved this morning during court. Oh, coming up. Okay. Right now, they're receiving $3.2 million. I would like to pinpoint that $1 million of it will be transferring from the general fund, and that was we're covering 60% of the current grant, as well as grant match for the 2 new grants that were approved this morning. You could tell that the $1 million, the $987,250 is the funding that's coming from the state, from TIDC. So this money that's coming in will be balancing the 3 divisions. I do want to make a comment that the grant went on the agenda, I think, April 29th for review to be submitted. And that's when I couldn't present this to anybody because we just received the grant award last Wednesday. And so the PD team, they rushed in order for me to get everything to present today, which entails the 10 positions under the current grant, 2 positions under the mental health grant, and 8 positions underneath the juvenile and appellate. Is there any questions regarding this one?
Commissioners?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
We beat that horse to death.
Next up is going to be the Sheriff's Office. This is for the Human Trafficking Task Force Development. As we discussed in personnel, they have 2 positions, 2 investigators that are housed over in this grant. The grant estimated is to cover $90,000, and the rest is going to come from the general fund, which the estimated general fund balance fund transfer would be $153,000 to help cover this cost. Keep in mind that in 2027, the Sheriff's Office will come back to the court to see if we can absorb these 2 positions. But currently, we still have grant funding to cover some of the costs for next year.
That's pretty big.
Any questions on that?
It's a beautiful number.
The statewide automated victim notification services, we received grant funding that's ongoing from the state, $31,000. And I'm balancing for the contract that's established in $31,000. The next step is going to be TJJD. This is the juvenile grants that we received from the state. Right now, we're getting salary supplement. It's kind of like the SB 22. They can increase individual salaries as a lump sum through each pay period, which is $709,000 that they're receiving from the state. The state aid will go towards the positions that are under the grant, 1.4. Since the 2 grants do not cover the full expense, we will have to transfer $869,000 from the general fund to the grant fund. As you can tell, that we transfer funding each year. It's just dependent on if those positions are vacant or if we're filling at max or what the deal is. And so this $869,000 might not be the full amount that's transferred. It's just an estimate. The 3 divisions that you see here, the salary adjustment divisions, this is where they use the funding to go above and beyond the salary, kind of like the district attorney and the county attorney. They can select certain positions to receive above and beyond their salary. Okay? And that's where this money is coming from. The rest are going to be certain grants based on what those positions do. And the total cost is $3 million. Any questions on the TJJD grants? Unfunded
Commissioners?
mandate.
I think we're good to proceed. Thank you.
The State Homeland Security Grant, we receive $25,000 from the state from the Web EEOC every single year. This goes towards a contract that's already established. $25,000 to match what we're receiving from the state. The MPO, I just want to make it clear that the MPO is not funded by the county whatsoever. This is a grant from the state, which means it houses the 3 positions that are currently over at the MPO. You can tell that the grant, we receive an estimated $811,000, and this is to offset the cost that runs the MPO, $811,000. Like I said, there's 3 positions that are fully funded from this grant over at the MPO. Is there any questions regarding the MPO grant?
Just for clarity, it just runs through us,
It
correct?
just runs through us, yes, sir. The American Rescue Plan Act, this is the ARPA money that has been received. Right now, as a revenue source, it's $10 million. $10 million is still left over from the American Rescue Plan that's going to go towards the medical examiner's office, with additional $470,000 to balance the budget, and this is for the current contract that we're under construction. I do want to break it down that the $695,000 that is for the general government is for our grant supervisors that we have, Trailer and Associates, and so that is the remaining contract that we have to pay them out for next year. This $9.4 million is the remaining balance of that $10 million, and this is for the contract for the medical examiner's office, for the ARPA portion of it. And then, of course, we had to help fund out of the general fund $15 million for the additional medical examiner's office. Total cost is $25 million. Any questions on the medical examiner?
Commissioners?
I'm good.
I believe this is the last one, the rural law enforcement salary assistant. This is the SB 22 funding that we received from the state for the county attorney, district attorney, as well as the sheriff's office. Estimated to be brought in as $1,068,000, and we break it down between what is promised to those divisions. The county attorney is $279,000, the district attorney is $279,000, and the sheriff's office is $515,000. Any questions on those grants?
Commissioner? None. Thank you.
And that is it for the grants. Is there any questions regarding the grants? This is the only grants that we have on the books moving into next year. That doesn't mean come October, we'll have additional ones that are approved. This is current.
Thank you for that clarity.
Okay, next up, we're going to go ahead and go over the debt service fund. I want to let you know that $9.3 million is estimated to be brought in for revenues. We do have debt service payments that we have to keep up with. It's $13 million, so we're going to use $3.6 million out of reserves to cover the estimates. Is there any questions regarding the debt service?
Nope.
I do want to pinpoint that when we're going over the hot fund, I don't think I mentioned, we transferred $1.2 million over from the hot fund to help pay for the debt in the debt fund. And so you can see the transfer coming in here, 1.2. And this is for the Expo expansion for years ago. We're still covering that debt.
Okay.
At the end of September 30th, we should have an estimated $4.2 million left in fund balance. Okay? Any questions regarding debt?
Commissioners?
Nope.
Proceed.
Next up is Health and Life Fund. This is the last one. So this is where we house our insurance for the county, the MPO, as well as the health district. And so this is the revenues that we have estimated to be brought in is $24 million. Our expenditures are broken down in 3 different funds. The first fund is going to be the current employee status, and so this is where we keep everything separate between employees versus retirees. The estimate for employee services for next year is $25 million. I do want to pinpoint that I do have $2.7 million in contingency for the what ifs. So if you have a high claimant that we can't control because they have a rare disease and it's unexpected, I just like to make sure that I have the additional money in contingency to go towards that cost. The Health and Wellness Clinic is also budgeted in this fund, an estimated cost of $1.2 million. This houses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions, I believe, as well as the expenditures underneath the health clinic. I do budget $20,000 in contingency for them for if a medical chair needs to be replaced, things of the unknowns over there. The next up is a wellness program. This is HR. They use this fund to do wellness programs throughout the year. This is $15,000. And then, of course, the retiree health insurance at an estimated $7 million. Total expenditures is $34 million. Any questions regarding health and life fund? That's it.
Commissioners, any questions over the entire presentation? Discuss the county budget. On day 7,
And 226.
No, no questions.
Wow, that was fast.
I mean, I praise for questions. I mean, no, I don't want to keep you out here all day. Thank you all so much. Like I said, most of these funds is based by statute, our fees, and it's very specific to things that it could be used for. Throughout the year, we try our best to make sure we use the special funds first before we hit the general fund if possible. And so there's still some ongoing research on what we can and cannot use, say, for instance, parking garage cameras, so we could find funding in the right source for that. Other than that, we have concluded pretty much the proposed budget. Now, tomorrow, the game plan is to review fund balance. We're going to go over a small summary of what we just went through regarding the general fund, and then we'll have tax rate discussion. Keep in mind, it's just a discussion. Nothing will be proposed tomorrow. The tax rate will be proposed next Tuesday during regular Commissioners Court session. After the tax rate is proposed, I will file the proposed budget with the county clerk as well as the county auditor, and it will be placed on the website, and you will get a copy hopefully Tuesday afternoon. But I'm missing the tax rate, so I have to have that.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Commissioners, any questions, any comments?
No, not about this.
No. Thank you, Nita.
9
Mr.
o'clock.
Thank
Thank you. Mr.
9
Chairman.
o'clock tomorrow.
I was going to say, Ms. Payne, Spencer, Ms. Turner, thank you all for all you do. Day 7 is now concluded. We look forward to seeing you and many more tomorrow at 9 a.m. in Commissioners Court. Today's workshop at 2:28 is now adjourned.